Hey everyone. So, I was inspired in September. This woman brought up one of the themes or mottos, if you will. She was specifically talking about Aries and the I am, and it got me thinking about how each sign has one of those. And in relation to that, I expanded the circle and recognized like the cardinal, like whether we're a cardinal, whether we're a fixed sign, or whether we're mutable. Because those are leaders, those are followers, and those are static. And, you know, of course we can relate to our own sign, we can relate to our own element, water, fire, air, etc. But then there's also this collective understanding and collective learning within that wider circle of cardinal, mutable, fixed. Because each of those signs also has to do with the house. You know, and that house is representational. This video particularly is in relation to the fixed signs. I went in order of, because I believe fixed would be the end, and we go around again, you know. But anyhow, Taurus is first. I took notes too. Taurus is first, and they are I possess, or I have. You know, they're ruled by Venus, of course. They're also ruled by the second house. Now, the second one is, in order, is Leo. And Leo is I rule, or I want. Which I believe that I rule, obviously, is original. And they're, of course, ruled by the sun and the fifth house. And then the third sign is Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, of course. And Scorpio is I desire. And then we have Aquarius. Scorpio is the 8th house, too. And then we have Aquarius. And Aquarius is an air sign. I actually found it written in a few of my books and then online, like, because I wanted to double, triple, I like double, triple checking, double backing my research, you know, because information is so, it's good to question it, you know. But anyway, I find it interesting. This one said I think, and then the other one said I know. But in truth, we'll get into that maybe a little bit more, but I want to touch on that. It's important for everyone. When we say, I think, I was going to say some stuff, but we'll save that for another video. But I think that bird's flying is much different than like, I know that bird is flying. You know? Like, I think I can see through the moon. I actually can see the moon right now. It's out during the day. Like, I could say, I think I can see through the moon. No, I know that I can see through the moon because there are clouds in that blank space. There are stars in that blank space, like, even at night. It's such a definitive difference. So that's important for everyone. Now, because my camera only records 30 minutes, these are going to be broken up into 2 sections, and I'm going to go in order. So this portion will be Taurus, as you saw in the title, and Leo. Part 2 will entail Scorpio and Aquarius. But remember, this whole idea that I was inspired to share with you, this information, I feel like so... There's so much energy happening around me in ways of animals, but not human. You ever feel the need to just center yourself for a second? Alright, well, here we go. I hope you understand the premise and the point of this intention. It's for everyone, in truth. For everything. So, Taurus. I did this spiritual reading, or whatever, if you'd like to call it that. It does touch within those realms. You received, there's the first card represents the next step in your path, or the stage for you to aim for. Or you can look at the card for a second and see what feelings you get. Maybe. I see it's time. Time's up. That's what I just heard. Time's up. Been this way 10 years to the day. That Led Zeppelin song. That's what I heard. Like something the same since you were 18. What is that thing that you still do that you did when you were 18? Or when you were 9 for some of you, but definitely like teenager. Because what your second card represents your hindrance in this path. Because if time's up, that means that a cycle is over. You know, because time is infinite. Just like water, just like sound. Like this dude puts off, you know, a pretty heavy vibration. You know, he wants to be in control. He, this represents Aries. For some of you, it could be I hear something about your dad, like your father. But more than anything, I see him as stubborn. I see him as stubborn. That's what's hindering you, is your own stubbornness. I guess I don't need to look that deep into it. Sometimes it really is that simple. It's just like something that we've been doing for so long that we just don't know how to break the cycle. But you can. It smells so good. It's like a campfire. You know, there's a reason why fire was, and this card very much represents fire. It's like fire is ceremonial in ways of release, you know. Maybe you need to get mad about something so that you can get over it, so you can stop being stubborn about it. Just get mad about it and get over it. Don't hold it all in, or feel like you're broken, so you're not going to try anyway. You know what I mean? There's no need for that. You're ruled by Venus. Don't forget that. I feel like earth signs forget that. Alright, so your third card represents what's favorable. And you receive the moon. This card's ruled by Cancer. I see the path right in front of you. You even see the path right in front of you. And there's even an opening for you. Like there's a pretty big wall, but you're standing right in front of an opening. Like there's a wall on like either side of you, and you then right in front of that, if you just pick your head up you'll realize that there's like this ultimate opportunity right in front of you that will bring you closer to your own knowing. Because you're not, there's something about your environment, there's something about environment where you're not in tune with it. You're not, whatever environment that it is that you're in, it doesn't give, it's not appropriate for you. And you know that, actually. But I think that goes back to the Emperor being stubborn. Now, the fourth card represents what you need to leave behind or what you need to disregard, and you receive the Queen of Cups. She's illuminating the moon, you know? But as the intention is, leave behind what you need to leave behind. Something about your mom. I want a little advice on that. I guess she's about relationships. She's about I hear there's a reliance upon Tauruses, for whatever reason, are learning some sort of lesson about the weight of the home is upon more of the feminine aspect. And that causes it, in essence, to be uneven, because you can have more masculinity than femininity. Like, overall, of course, it will all balance out, right? But in these smaller pockets, there's going to be different levels, and it all depends on who's there and how they deal with that energy, right? But so in essence, you can have more of one, as I said, and there's more of the reliance and responsibility upon the female, and the male, if that is the aspect, the masculine aspect within the home is not, they're exerting power, but they're not doing anything, even though they know that they need to change. Interesting. The fifth section is attitudes to cultivate, or what to focus on. You received the Ace of Swords, the Two of Wands, and the Prince of Wands. I see here with the Ace next to the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is about really considering what it is that you have, considering what it is that you make, considering what it is that you build. Like, you or I possess, right? And this guy possesses a lot, but he gets it in kind of a, it's domineering. And this person possesses things, but she doesn't really have a good hold on herself. I just keep hearing the word responsibility. But this Ace of Swords, it's about, look, it cuts right through the clouds. And it has the triple goddess on there and the end of the sword. This is about just cutting away whatever this moon means. It's I guess in an essence too, the moon in your favorable position means that the moon's about unknowing, right? Undiscovered situations, undiscovered understandings. Something has not come to light yet. The sun hasn't come out. It's still nighttime. And that in itself is really beautiful, to be able to be like, wow, tomorrow really is a new day. So it's just time to consider what it is. Sagittarius and Aries. It's pretty fiery, you know, especially next to this Prince of Wands. It's like there's just a decision to be made about where you're directing your energy and what it is that you want in the future, because I see that you just don't quite know. And that's okay, but it's like time's, in a way, time's running out. You know, we all, this lifetime is pretty short in the grand scheme, you know? Alright, so I'll leave it as that. We'll move along to Leo. Feel free to timestamp this. So, Leo, I feel like it's getting dark in here. The sun and the moon are out, but it's just not quite bright enough. For your next step, or what you need to aim for, ooh, is that too bright? It's a chain, it's just seeing, Leo. So we have, the next step is chaos and conflict and milk and honey. What a contrast it is. I see this though, chaos and conflict. This card is about change. It's about becoming closer to who you really are. You don't have to, your life does not have to be determined by, your past does not define you, Leo. Okay? And life is milk and honey. It's like I was just saying, Taurus. Like, each and every day is new. We have an opportunity to be here. Like today, I had a few tomatoes from my garden that were getting kind of old, so I used them, I stewed them, and then I had a can of fava beans, and I had a piece of cod that I froze like a couple months back that I got on a job for free, because they did a really good job removing all their concrete floor, and I put it all together, and to some people they would just think like, oh, that's just frozen fish and canned beans and whatever, old tomatoes, but once it was all there, I was like, wow, this is a beautiful meal. Like how lucky I am to have this creature that gave its life from the sea, to have these beans from the Middle East come all the way where I am now, which is far from there. You know, it's not walkable. And then tomatoes that I took the time to grow myself. Like, sometimes in life you have to really take a step back and be like, you know, it's not about where I came from, it's what I'm doing now. It's about where I am now and really appreciating that. These both equal the number 6, which is about harmony. Which is 12, which goes back to the 3, and that's about your heart and your mind and your soul. You know, like, it would be doing yourself a disservice to attach what has happened in the past to this present moment in such a way that it blocks you. There's no need for that. Because your hindrance, which is your second card, you receive 2. And you have the 3 of Pentacles and the 2 of Pentacles. So many crows where I live. Beautiful. The 3 and the 2 for a hindrance. You're a little bit frivolous with your what makes you stable. You're a little bit unsettled with what makes you stable. Like you work really hard. You can work really well independently. But it's like when you start working on one thing, you can... When you only focus in on one thing, you miss the blessing. The blessings all around you. You know, because that's what it is too. Like, yeah, I had that beautiful meal, but I also, in addition to that, just moved in this apartment of my own. Like, there's all these other things in life we really have to pay attention. Like, does my car work? Do I have food in the cupboard? Do I have all my phalanges and toes? You know? I also see the 5 of Pentacles here, and that's about karma. It's also about putting yourself in a position that's unnecessary, you know? And I see here it's with other people, and I see here that what you think it is other people take you off your track, but you do. You're the one that takes you off the track. So that's, I guess, part of your hindrance too, is that integrity is necessary to it really needs to be solidified. But what's great and favorable is that I see here that, well, I also want to mention, as a side note, although this is in your hindrance in relation to Leo and helping all these mutable, fixed signs, excuse me, is, what you've been working on, you've been working very diligently at, in one area of your life specifically, that's helping the overall structure, and that can seem daunting at times, so you want to make sure that you are spending your time accordingly, okay? Your energy accordingly. So you have a favorable section now. This is so beautiful. You have the Last Judgment, or the Judgment card, of course, the 6 of Wands, and the High Priestess. Awesome. So what's favorable is that this is the card right before the last card in the Major Arcana. It means that what's favorable is that you're going to succeed no matter what. But it will be a more balanced outcome for you throughout, like, because these readings aren't necessarily meant for just, you know, the month. I'm sensing these lessons probably through the end of the year, this Gregorian calendar year that we base our lives on. I see here that you'll succeed. I see here that you understand what certain situations are, but there are also other certain situations that you're going to come to understand in the future, and it's through this High Priestess. But she has her eyes closed and she's sitting upon water. It's about really trusting your feelings, really being in touch with your emotions about situations. Because when you put them in the background, they don't go away. You know, they're still there, tussling around. But that's good. The High Priestess in the Judgment card, you have 6 of Wands. Because, you know, we can't... The worst thing that can happen, I guess, is that we can die. But if we die, then we die, and then you're dead. There's nothing you can do about it, you know, and divine timing for everything. I'm not saying anyone's going to die. I'm just saying, like, we're alive now, so no matter what choice we make, even if it puts us in a predicament of, oh shit, versus the, oh yay, you're still technically winning because you're not dead. You know, that's sort of like, even in video games, right? You have 3 lives, or, you know, once your lives are gone, your life is gone, you're done. So enjoy it. Change. It's fun. Release yourself from what has imprisoned you in the past. It's not for you. The milk and honey is for you. The sweetness of life is for you, Leo. It's for everyone. So the 4th card is what you need to leave behind or disregard, and you have the Tower and the 3 of Pentacles. Again. Now, the Tower was in actually a couple of your readings since the beginning of the year, but specifically September, so for those of you who saw that, you see that this is relevant. Again, just leaving behind this lack of attention towards what you already know. Closing your eyes, shutting yourself down to your own body when it tells you things, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and what kind of behavior is acceptable. You have to look at the reality of the situation before you start putting time in. The best way to build a foundation in life is you have to pay attention, you know. So if you're still the Leo that's thinking this Tower card is acceptable, that's something you need to leave behind. It's tired of you disregarding that this Tower makes you have to start over every time. Why would you do that? You know? Because I see you're only at the 3. Now, the 5th section, attitude to focus on, or attitude to cultivate rather, or what to focus on, we have the Moon, the Queen of Wands, and the Knight of Cups. Oh, Queen of Discs, excuse me. Of course, Capricorn. Attitude to focus on. The Moon again. It's interesting. The first 2 signs down the line tend to meld, and then the middle, and then the end too. It's interesting this because it's cycling back around. So the Moon for Taurus and for Leo, which has to do with the 4th house, which is home and family, children. So again, I guess the same message of the Moon and the appreciation, the surprise of every new day is how you succeed. I see the 6 of Wands. And it'd be important to write, be good for you to write. It will give you clues. Attitude to cultivate the Queen of Discs. She is so aware of her past. She's so settled in herself to where she is now. And she's cool with what happened in the past. And she's looking into the future. I see Cancer here again. Looking into the future in a different way than she did before. It's like what used to draw her in no longer does that. She's more contemplative of right now about what has happened in the past. And what her path is in the future. Cool. Really cool, actually. Alright, well, part 2 will be coming, which will be Scorpio and Aquarius. Thanks for being here.